schools can range from $10,000 to $30,000 a year. That's a pretty significant difference. I would just like to say that if you look at UC Davis, one of the most recognized, that their School of Medicine is $20,000 cheaper than Keck School of Medicine, and it's higher rated. Why would you pay so much more for a school that's not even rated as high? I would also next like to talk about that the UC systems have some of the best programs and schools in California. Inter Magazine ranks colleges every single year, and they ranked Berkeley number 9. So that's just school in general. Across multiple lists, UC San Francisco is rated number 2 for their medical program, and UC Berkeley is rated number 3 on their engineering program. I would just like to remind you that for Stanford School of Medicine, it is $50,000 opposed to UC San Francisco's $37,000. I yield the rest of my time.
Any questions? Any questions?
I yield my time to the chair.
Would like to give over?
I got notes.
Yes,
Hi guys, my name is Casey McDaniel. I've been here twice before. I go to the same school as both August and Austin. We're all from Canyon. And I'd just like to touch upon a couple points and kind of bring us back to what the resolution states. So the resolution states that the UC school system is not serving the needs of California students, right? So I think the main issue we should be focusing on is what is it doing for California students? I'm not saying, and my colleagues are not saying that UC school systems are bad or that they don't work anymore or that their programs are bad or anything like that. They're obviously excellent schools, and that's why many of you are applying for them. But the fact of the matter is that it's not serving California residents anymore. It's serving those who are out of state and out of country more often than it's serving the needs of California students themselves. And that's what we need to think about today. Not that they're cheap, not that they provide a high value for your education. None of that. Focus on what they're doing for California students. And with that, I'd like to give the questions. I don't know if there are any. Any questions, please? Come on. Yes.
Yeah, like how would you be better for
They should focus on accepting California students rather than trying to get more money from out of state and foreign students because they have to pay a higher tuition, whereas California has to pay a lower tuition. So to try to make themselves seem more well-rounded and collect more money, they accept those students more often than they accept California residents, and that is an issue. And that's state schools because the government runs them or should run them, even though they're starting to become more private. We should force them to have a accept more I just don't think it's good them right now. I don't know exactly what it I don't think, well, that's not really addressing the resolution, but personally, I don't think we ended up on it. I don't really want to get into like where exactly we put our money. Why? But I do think as this California state government should be putting a lot more money into research to make it so that it doesn't.
the only No, I need like all
Yeah, I think that University of California, I think that University of California schools should serve Californian students. So I do think that they should implement that code because the mission is to help California students, so I think that's the main issue.
Oh, there.
Okay, so I have a bond with a UCLA admissions debt advisor. So I know the secrets, the ins and outs of what people don't know is that, for example, UCLA, they have a quota they have to meet for California students. 80,000, wait, how many people apply?
100,000.
Yeah, 80,000 people apply, and they only 80,000 last year, Nick. 80,000 students apply and only what, 16,500 get in. Okay, and that's not including undergraduate, no, that's not including graduate student applications. People don't understand that even though out-of-state admissions are increasing, that's a fact, that's true. Our admissions for Californian students is not increasing. So, also, there's a point that, August, okay, he brought up a point saying that, costs for, you know, like students, they're not, yeah, of course, that's true. If you look at USC, for example, a private institution, their tuition is $24,000. My dad doesn't even make that much. I'm kidding, he probably makes that much. But yeah, that's $24,000 per semester. UCLA is half the cost. It's a public institution with comparable academics. There are numerous ways to pay for college, and costs really shouldn't be a factor. For example, look at Harvard. About 90% of their students go there on financial aid. They're not worrying about costs, they're worrying about education. UC systems really value education, that's a given. So cost and admitting students from California, this article is pretty much a fallacy. So, yeah, you might find the questions.
Any questions? Yes.
The California State School was regularly education hires for any California citizen more than UCLA. Since you're saying that the change should be made to say, what do you suggest we do to solve this for so that they're also
you can't admit them all. So, I mean, like, look. All right, let me explain. Okay, so look at students who have like a 15 year SAT and their school average is like 1,800. Of course, they're not going to get accepted because they're underperforming at that school.
Motion to extend the speaker time. 33 seconds.
Okay, so I mean, if you don't deserve to get admitted, you don't get admitted. It's just extremely selective. Of course, that's it's a top. I wouldn't say top. Is it top 10? It's like top 20 in the nation. It's a top 20 school in the nation with. It's a top 20 school in the nation with such high performing academics. But there's a quality to be upheld, and you just can't admit low performing students. It doesn't matter if they're from California or England. If they're low performing, they shouldn't go.
Yeah, Justin!
Timekeeper was Kevin. Hey, Jacob.
So I'm just going to focus on a lot of the rhetoric used in this round, and I'm just going to focus on a lot of things that I think are definitely wrong that people have said are definitely right. So one of the things is that UCs are becoming excessively too focused on profits, and this is kind of actually self-detrimental to the entire state of California. Basically, what happens is a person will move to wherever there's available education, and when that happens, they're going to probably relocate there or somewhere else, and our economy gets weakened because qualified candidates are moving out of the state to where there's better education that is available for them, or even lesser education that is available for them. For example, my sister goes to Texas A&M University, and Texas A&M has a lot of requirements about interstate admission. So like 2/3 of their students are qualified Texas applicants who fit in the top 50 of their class. And that's how they do it in Texas. And, do it bigger and better in Texas. I don't know about that always. But it's just not, it doesn't make sense. It's like 9 + 10 = 21. Like that's just so also this place is by not accepting people, qualified applicants, this places a burden on underprivileged and disenfranchised students who are applying to college because they can't pay for out-of-state tuition, so it's placing a heavier burden for them if they don't get into UC school. So this is a huge deal, and this is kind of pointless. I mean, it's definitely not Gucci that we're not rewarding these people. So why should we continue to disparage our residents and not reward them for their achievement? This hurts our state as a whole, and as people will relocate to where education is cheaper and available. Let's talk about some other arguments. One thing is that people are talking about people going wherever, like because of prestige. Well, a lot of the reason that we're applying to UC schools is because of proximity. It's close to where we live, where we're comfortable. Someone also talked about how it's cheaper. This is true, but if we don't get in, it's not cheaper at all. We have to go somewhere out of state or private. So that's the cheaper argument. It's not really a good one. The quotas. It's illogical to say that because we're accepting less California students. We're not accepting less California students, but we're accepting more California students. So the last thing I'd like to say is to restate Tupac's logic. I am mad at you, California state schools. We need to serve our own. And University of California system should definitely serve students from our own state. And it's completely logical and it makes sense. Thank you very much.
Right now, I have an article from Socal. The article states that more than 10% of all university presidents will come from out of state or international places. That leaves more than about 70% of the students coming from California. I mean, that's still a lot of Californians. And these people, these out-of-state people, they give 400 million extra revenue to your schools, which the schools can use for scholarships and financial aid. The out-of-state students, pardon me, are the only way to give California's affordable education without raising too much taxes. This is a very good way and very friendly way for a president to receive good education without high taxes. And I would like to state the demographics. The highest percentage of the out-of-state are at UCLA, Berkeley, and UC San Diego. UCLA has about 30% of out-of-state students. That's not a lot, 30%. You still have 70% of the California students still practicing their passion of education in the schools. I mean, that's not a problem at all, in my opinion. And these people each pay about $20,000 in extra tuition. They're placed a huge obstacle to attend these colleges and universities, and they're willing to make that sacrifice. And if out-of-state students are willing to make those kind of sacrifices, then they should. And I like to address when people say that lower qualified students, the underqualified students should go into university system. And I believe that that isn't true. Because we're still talking about universities here, not playgrounds. Underqualified students do not go into universities just because they want to. It is an unfair system and it is very, very destructive to the prestige and to the integrity of universities. Thank you very much. And I would like to know my questions. Yes.
I would like to ask, when you talk about 70, when you talk about underqualified students, would you not agree that there's a plethora of qualified students in California who are taking advantage of
I agree with that statement. However, I was addressing the rhetoric of previous speaker, but I feel that there's one. Another question. We're here. Thank you.
You said in the beginning that the students, like the paragraph of the you said it can go for colleges, will it go for colleges? You know what I mean?
You have already stated that it does go towards California legislation directly. That's correct. You don't go to colleges. Yeah, I like to
Thank you.
Have another substitute speaker for the affirmative side.
Thank you. Hi guys. What's up? Hey. Hi guys, my name is Tristan. I go to University High School down the street. So I just want to start off by addressing a few points that previous con speakers have stated. So one of the previous con speakers stated that college should not be a factor for UC acceptance. I agree, it shouldn't be a factor, but the reality of it is a factor. It's a big factor. You see, in the brief, it states that UC Berkeley tuition can be brought down to $19,500 with student aid, financial aid. But $19,000 is still quite a bit of money. $19,000 a year is unaffordable by many, many, many families in California. See, there are so many people who can't afford this even with financial aid. And because of that, they aren't going to go to UC schools because of the cost alone. And that's just not fair. The UC schools were designed to serve California students first, to serve California students, and let anyone who wanted a higher education get that higher education. And right now, with that cost, they're not doing that. Also, I want to address the prestige factor and the performance factor in admissions of UC schools. So a previous con speaker said that admissions are an inevitable thing. If you're not good enough to get into UC school, you shouldn't be going to a UC school. But being good enough for a UC school is not based on intelligence alone. Your GPA, your SAT scores, your extracurricular activities, those aren't just based on your knowledge. People are smart, but they do not have the same opportunities that we have. I go to school in Irvine, I have so many opportunities here. Compared to these kids in like inner city LA, 40 minutes down the freeway, they don't have nearly the amount of opportunities that I do. Here. Okay. They don't have nearly the opportunities that I do, so maybe their performance comparatively isn't as good as mine or other people in Irvine or other people across California. But that's not to say that they shouldn't be granted the higher education that they want just because of existential circumstances that don't permit them from doing as well. See, performance, if someone really wants to get into these UC schools and they are a California student, these UC schools should allow them to come in and get the higher education that they want. Because everyone deserves a higher education if they are really driven to want it. Just because a UC school is prestigious and ranked top 20, that is a selfish want of these schools to be ranked in the top 30, top 20 in the nation, rather than serving our students. Students should come first before prestige. So these UC schools are not supporting our students in California as well as they should be, and they should change instead.
everybody. So my name is Dr. Bang. I am a student at Green High School. And first off, I would like to say that I am a marketing consultant with a college consulting company, and I have seen many different college apps before, and people list the top 5 colleges that they want to attend. And top 5 of those, I usually see these 4 letters. UCLA. And then also, in the 1980s, back when my parents were first applying to college, when they immigrated here from Taiwan, they only knew one college, UCLA. Now, as we see that student colleges like UCLA are becoming the most applied to college in the world, and becomes probably a public Ivy League school. And now, although that the UC system does not accept all California students, I believe that every person who gets accepted should be accepted to at least a school like UCR. UCR is a school that gives a quality of education with a class size of 18 students to 1, with professors from college universities like Yale, such as Harold Hayashi, who is a biology teacher, and also having a 50% acceptance rate. Now, I believe that people who get accepted to colleges like UCR, they believe that since they got denied to this college like UCLA, that they don't deserve to go to UCR because it's too less to learn, and instead go to CC to save money, and go to UCLA when they go to grad school. Now, along with that, I believe that there's many varieties of colleges such as UCR, UCI, and UC Berkeley are top in the business program. UCLA is number 3 in the medical program, and UC Berkeley is number 3 in the engineering program. And UCR offers 2 different colleges for people to do in different majors, UCSD 3 and UCSD 6. Now, I believe that there are many different varieties that where one kid should be accepted to at least one UC and find their niche, find their passion in their life. And also, along with that, think about what we're here for, JSA. JSA is a non-profit organization that should be seen on a high school campus or a college campus. Well, if you take a look at many campuses such as Yale, Yale only offers 60 organizations and clubs on campus. Now take a look at where we are right now with UCI. UCI has more than 600 clubs and organizations on this campus. Now, I believe that the higher education that's being offered to students is being put right here on UC campuses because people are being exposed to things such as JSA and learning how to give back. I don't want learn to give back to learn themselves or colleges like UCI and other UCs. So although nobody can go to all these colleges and get accepted in every single one of these colleges, I believe that someone can discover their one niche with their one UC. Thank you.
I'm so excited. Please.
Us? Both of us?
With turban?
Yes.
Yay!
I want to begin with a question. Who is taking the SAT next week?
I'm so sorry.
A lot of people. Now, how many of you guys have been studying really hard for it? How many of you guys have given up hours, days to get a great score as a test? Here's my gripe with the UC. Here's my gripe with the UC system. The UC system is only accepting robots. They're only accepting students who get perfect SAT scores, get perfect ACT scores, have a variety of extracurriculars, and have like a 4.7 GPA. And even though I'm grossly over-exaggerating this, I feel like to a degree, the talent that gets into the UCs are missing out on a lot of potential talent that cannot get in because of their own limitations. That is not of their fault. And I feel like the UC school system should accept a greater variety of people and not just look at numbers, but look at people instead. And I feel like a big point that's been made on the other side is, it's just $17,000. It's just $19,000. For a lot of people, that's like half of their annual income. That is a lot of money that's going towards education. Now, if you were to look at the statistics, the income increase and the increase in college tuition are vastly disproportional. It's very hard to get the money to go into colleges like UCLA and UCR. I yield my time to questions.
Yes.
You know the actual parameters for admissions, right?
Yes.
Respect the speaker.
How we create a system with a good and take the students without looking at the numbers, but that's
I think that there should be, without bringing affirmative action into this in any way, race or economic, I think there should be better programs for students besides tests to see whether or not they can be good for the
Now we're here from the con speaker.
Okay. Hi again. I think both sides have really strong arguments, and that August very good arguments. But I can see how you can say that it would not serve the California students. I just also see that if you're having people apply and you're having people that are way better than the California students applying to these schools, that they don't deserve to get it just because you live in California. You don't deserve to get into a UC school, and I understand that their purpose is to serve these California students. But if the average California student isn't great, why would I choose a California student over somebody who does way better than the California student? And that's all I have. I mean, everything else has been brought up, and to bring it to a close, I yield my time to Chair.
It's nice to see you all again. The University of California is chasing the wrong goal. Like Mr. McDaniel said, we're not saying that the University of California is bad. In fact, it's quite the opposite. They're focusing too much on standards. The University of California is not being sincere to its purpose or its name. The University of California is no longer for California. Its motives for absorbing tuition are irrelevant. Its purpose is for Californians to access higher education. It can't have both simultaneously, with 24% of our population below the poverty line. To combat this, my opponents of the UC system claim that the UC system has a generous financial aid program. This unfortunately bears little truth, as the financial aid program mostly comes in the form of loans with high interest. Students pay either way. My opponent in the UC system claims that Californians are losing to UCs because to out-of-state students because of competition. People want education too much.
This, once again, is ridiculous. It is ridiculous to have a university system with 30% of its students coming from outside of the university's state. And that is what private university goes like. The taxpayers of California aren't getting what they're paying. As the Californian student attempts to use the university system that his family has paid for to further his career, he is met with steep costs and steeper competition. In any society, some are born with a silver spoon. Some are born with better circumstances than others. The UC system is designed to level that playing field. We are supposed to be a meritocracy. The University of California is supposed to be a public institution. Make it so. Keep the integrity of the ideals of our democracy. I strongly urge you to vote in favor of this resolution. Thank you. My name is August.
Resolution was resolved that UC schools are no longer serving California students. Resolution, please raise your hand. Jacob, The resolution passes with a vote of 70 from side, 34 on the contract, and 8 abstentions. If you spoke, please tell us the rest of
I'm Ozzy Rusby, and I am. I'm August 1. I spoke in pro. August is like a month. Thank you.
I'm Casey McDaniel. I'm from Canyon High, but I urge you, if you're going to vote for me, instead put your vote toward the wonderful speaker, August.
Now I feel terrible. Now I feel terrible. My name is Roger, and I spoke the con. Last name Peg.
I'm Bryson. I spoke.
Justin Whittakin, I spoke for the pro.
Tristan Malhotra, I also spoke for the pro.
When you eat in 10, you sit down. You sit down and you
I don't care. Feel like holy crap. You know what? I need to wash my clothes. Just wash them. It's all good. No, it wasn't. It was wow.
I'm not allowed to say anything though. And he puts me on blast in front of all these new people, and so I'm homophobic. But I call him gay.
Are you telling me that gay is a bad thing or something? You're California.
Hello, everyone. So, just turn in your best speaker ballots for the UC schools debate, and after we count up have the closing session and announce the best speakers for the 4 blocks and discuss closing speeches.
Can everyone please take a seat? We will be starting closing session soon and announcing the speaker. Everyone please take a seat. So, how is everyone's SCR one-day experience? So before we go to announcing the best speakers, we really wanted to take a selfie with everyone out here. Can we all be silent for the selfie until we take it? If we have to scream, I love SCR, thanks.